Hey, Future Him here. Quick heads up before we get into it. I'm splitting this next conversation with Paul into 2 separate episodes to keep things in at the 20 and 30 minute sweet spot. Ourselves and Paul, we went off on some massive tangents in this one, but honestly, there was way too much gold in there to cut, so we're keeping everything in. The full uncut episode will go up at some point as a one long sit down a little bit later, but if you can't wait that long, here is part 1. And quick favor, before we jump into it, if you're getting any value from these, hit the like button, subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2 or the full episodes when it drops. Other than that, let's get into it.
See, my one was Dr. Pepper as well, you know. Love Dr. Pepper, me.
Are we good to go,
Jess
Carl?
loves a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
She lives for a Dr. Pepper.
No. That's like fucking medicine, bro.
Exactly, we need it.
It's
Like,
ancient Chinese medicine.
No, we
Rhino
ain't
horn
doing
in
that.
it.
We ain't doing that. Ready to go?
yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Coach's Hour, the podcast dedicated in helping you become the best coach possible. You're here with myself, him, and my co-host is Jawade Graham. So before we start this podcast, this is where we'd like you to drop a like, drop a 5-star review, subscribe, and tell your mum about this podcast. Why? Because, you know, we give this shit away for free. And the podcast gods basically say 5-star means something good. I'm not sure what that means, like what that good is, but some point we probably will. So if you enjoy it, please do any one of those things. So with that out of the way, today's episode is very, very special. Much like in The Lord of the Rings, every now and then, fellowship must be formed. You have the usual hobbits, that's myself and Joade. For today, we called upon a man who's walked the darkest paths
Is it Gandalf?
of
Is that the right
coaching.
film? Gandalf.
It's the right one.
Gandalf.
He's faced the orcs of bad programming. He survived the fires of the industry. And whether today's episode turns into a wise council meeting or just a full-on battle on Helm's Deep, we'll find out soon. Paul, welcome to the show.
That's my favourite intro ever.
Listen, I swear, he puts extra effort into the intros
That
with
was
guests.
so good. Yeah, let's do
The
this.
last one with Ant.
I just wanted to be called Aragon during it, and I'd have been well happy.
So today we are going to be breaking down education, what's actually helped us and what didn't, and what coaches should really be focusing on. So Paul, let's start with you. How has education shaped your career?
I mean, it's been massive and also probably taken me down a bunch of blind alleys, I suppose.
Is there any education that you feel like, oh shit, man, I wish I never fucking did that?
Probably. I spent way too much time on PubMed
Yeah.
for a while. Like, you need education as a PT because the quality of the course is useless. Like, it doesn't prepare you to be a PT in the slightest, really.
But we all have to pay
But
for
we
it,
all
right?
have to pay for it. I know, it's a really annoying thing that you just got to tick a box and get done, and it's a waste. So you need, if you want to succeed in this industry and really make a career of it, you need ongoing education. 100%, that's without question. The question then is, what's the best education you should actually focus on and where should you put it? So, I mean, if I speak through maybe my own education journey a little bit from when I started to now, it'll probably hopefully make it quite clear as to what I think is useful and not as we go. So when I started in 2010, the only place you really got your information at that point was a couple of websites called T Nation, and there was another one called PT on the Net. Right, this is
So the Facebook groups were quite big as well. You know?
Yeah.
Like people had their pages. That was quite good.
pretty much. Like they started getting bigger at 2011, 2012 for sure. But 2010, I remember sitting behind the desk in Halo in Hereford Leisure Centre on PT on the Net, reading articles and what have you. And that was okay. And that gradually got me exposed to some names that I followed and used over the years after. That's where I first came across Poliquin, where I came across Czech, where I came across, Eric Cressy.
Christian Thibodeau.
Yeah. The hardest name to pronounce in the world, that Canadian motherfucker. Dean Somerset, Tony Gentlecore, Dan John, a bunch, John Romanello. There's a whole segue you could go into on that part that we'll just ignore for now. But, kind of these names. And it was before really video thing was much of a muchness. It was always written. And so, okay, that was interesting. And I kind of read some stuff. And then I got into Paul Czech for a period and read How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, and definitely got convinced microwaves were going to kill me and my family. Everyone needed to be on a football at various kind of points and all kinds of manner of stuff. That guy got into making rock gardens. You ever see that later in life?
No.
Mate, go check out Paul Chet now. It's great.
Shit.
Yeah, it's fun. So definitely did a bit of weird stuff there. Then had a kind of Poliquin phase, which was definitely better training than the stuff I'd been doing before, but I was also convinced that, Dominican eggs were something really anabolic and special.
So did you do the, what was it
Biosig
called?
and stuff? Yeah.
Okay, you did that in PICP?
I didn't do the PICP, right? But I knew people who were going through it, but just earlier in the career, I was like, I've not got the cash.
PICP is basically split squats, man.
Is it just split squats? All
That's-
the UP boys did it, right?
But we,
Because there was like, what,
Yeah.
4 levels or something?
something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But it was very popular, and like Poliquin would always come to UP
Yeah.
to teach things. The best story was always when he came to do Biosig, right? And he just like, most people draw the lines and know
Yeah.
exactly. He was just like,
Grab.
yeah, and he'd grab one person and he'd be like 15% or whatever, right? And then he'd do it like 10 seconds, like I don't know, 5 minutes later, and he'd be like 12%. And it's like, what the fuck?
Didn't notice that. It was like,
Yeah.
that's the same guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's dropped 3%. I'm real
Wrong
good.
arm.
they're all
That's my
Chinese,
strong
they're all
arm.
the same.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that's awesome. So I got into Poliquin, and, his website was on there the whole fucking time, and, was convinced structural balance meant everything needed to have its ratios of front squat to back squat and incline bench to bench and all that
BCA
stuff.
tablets.
Oh, so many BCA. I remember Nick Mitchell once saying, however many you can throw into your mouth during a
You've ever
session.
done the BCA like a dragging, like you blow it and it's like, oh, you got a cough of so basically if you don't drink enough water to caps, right? Because you're like we're saying 30 caps, right?
Yeah.
So you're
So many caps.
You're back in like you're
I
getting
couldn't
so
afford
good
this at the time. And I was
so
like
good-
convinced this would help.
Get them on tick.
Yeah.
You're so good at swallowing tablets, right? So you back like maybe 5 or 6 of those big, they're tanky, right? And then you don't have enough water. Literally, you cough and like the smoke of like powder would come out.
See, I never
Try
actually
and get
got.
back in.
That's a skill.
I could never like fully justify spending that much money on all the supplements all the time. So I never did the mainline 30 BCAA tablets the whole time. So thankfully, but that,
Every
do you remember-
workout.
Yeah, do you remember the gram of fish oil per percent body fat thing?
Yes.
Definitely told a bunch of my clients.
30, imagine.
They were like 30-40% body fat. I was like, so you need 40 grams of fish oil a day.
Just go and get a vat. Just go and get a vat. and put it in
Fish
your
oil
garage.
tablets as well make you, when you burp, you taste that fish for days. So I'm like, there's no way those clients ever stuck to that and actually did it, right? But like, I definitely
I'm
told
sure
some
there's
people.
some.
Yeah, there would have been
Because
some.
at UP, people
At
used
UP,
to
they
rack.
would have done.
They used
Yeah,
to
yeah.
rack up some mad bills, man.
Yeah, I
and
bet.
like I remember,
You had the supplements there, though, didn't you?
yeah, and we used to
Yeah.
get commission
Yeah.
from that. I remember,
Did ya?
yeah, mate, there were some guys in UP. They're making like two G's a month, man,
From the supplement
stocks.
commission.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah, you need this, you need this, you need this. Take it all.
Stacks in it. There's like
Yeah,
stacks.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
So I had that Poliquin phase where I was like, well, the training stuff was definitely better than the previous training stuff I've been doing. So that was great. Definitely led me down a weird bunch of routes nutritionally for a little while, and being convinced, we really had to fuck with people's hormones to change stuff, because Biosig was a big thing.
You know, you're is it Australian here?
Yeah,
Your,
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
Australian
Oh,
is
yeah.
It's too high. In,
Yeah, you had a Celtic hip and everything. You had your super.
That's because you've been eating the microwaving.
Yeah, well, I
plastic
remember the
containers.
belly button piercing being a
Yes.
cortisol thing. And if you had a belly button piercing, she's never getting shredded. It was all of that, right? And so when I had clients who weren't like dropping weight like they should, I was like, maybe it's this hormone thing I've got to figure out.
You got to eat more nuts.
Yeah, it literally was. Meat and nuts breakfast. Do you remember meat and nuts? Dude, I've not spoken
Steak
about
and
meat and
eggs.
nuts. Yeah,
Steak
I
and
had
eggs.
venison and cashews at times because I used to alternate the meat and the nut. So it'd be like venison burgers and cashews, and then I might have some beef and like fucking almonds or something, because I was dude, I haven't thought about that in so long. Yeah. So there was that phase. That probably takes me to about 2014-ish maybe. And I think I got into the evidence-based thing that was then kind of big. So Schoenfeld and Helms and Alan Aragon and Lyle McDonald and all those guys. And do you remember Shredded by Science as a company? Luke Johnson and what have you. So started going to those things there. Be like, yeah, research. And so I then spent 5 years reading
Muscle and
reading way too much research. And be like, I know Ned Olchaver's sleep study, like 8.5 hours versus 5.5 hours, and the difference in it. I'll tell you this now, knowing that has not gotten me a single client result better than not knowing that study. Like it might be true. Doesn't help you coach anyone. Doesn't change it. What do you want to do with that information? I spent a lot of time trying to be right rather than trying to be helpful. And it took a long time to realize that those aren't the same thing. Like just giving someone technically correct information isn't the same thing as coaching them. And so I spent way too long thinking, look how much I know. And that made me a good coach. And I'd almost be like looking down my nose at coaches who I thought were inferior or shitter coaches because they were giving burpees and fucking whatever and hyping people up. I was like, that's just they're a shit coach. And I was like, it didn't really go through my head that, yeah, but some of those clients are doing better than my clients with their inferior methods. It's like, can I really call it an inferior method if it worked better than my method? I'm like, not really if you think about it in hindsight. Because the only thing that really matters as a trainer is, did you help the client in front of you? That's the only bit that really matters. Do you regularly get good results? If yes, you're good. If no, you're probably not. And I definitely thought I was better than I was. And then, so that lasted way too long. And I don't want to sit here and say, therefore I was completely shit this entire time, because I don't think that's true. And
No, because I think it's true for most coaches. Like, you're looking back now saying, nah, that was some dumb shit.
Yeah.
But at the time, you had it in your best. You were doing your best.
Yeah. I genuinely thought I was helping the best that I could. And
That's not funny because it's true.
Yeah.
But it is funny when you think back at it, you're like, how did I think it was helpful?
Yeah.
Like, it happens to everyone. Like, that's just the thing. Like, because people now will say, like, I know whatever it is. And then in 5 years, you look back and say, that was nonsense.
Yeah.
But everyone goes through it. And I think it's important to highlight that, because as long as you're doing it with the best intentions, it is not wrong.
But this is why
It's just
social
when you're
media, like before, back in the day, it would not been a good.
Oh, it'd been
because we were so confident,
so man.
confident, like we are right.
Yeah,
you know. And Poliquin told me so. It's definitely, you know.
I remember.
Meanwhile, no experience. Or like you never done. You did that course just with Poliquin just now.
Yeah.
Right? I remember judging. There's a dude called Chris who I used to work with, David Lloyd, who was an ex-stripper. Great stories.
Nice.
Once told me he got pulled across the stage by his dick through his legs by someone who was just pulling him backwards, towing
That's
him.
all kinds of horrible.
Yeah, so real funny. I mean, that man had a piece on him, so fair play.
How on earth would you know that? You know what?
We don't need to talk about such things, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Just that David Lloyd. But he was then a cop, right? And then he worked.
That's a mad career change.
He did so many things. But you go, juiced up dude, big guy.
Is this Ronnie Coleman?
Good looking guy. But I remember like thinking, he doesn't know what he's talking about, because he used to like smash Mars bars and do a bunch of other stuff. And in spite of the fact he was in ridiculous nick, right, was clearly in way better shape than me, had more people go up to him and like ask his advice and stuff because he looked the part and all the rest of it. I used to judge him as being, he was a lovely dude, really funny and really liked him. I was like, he's doing a few things wrong though, isn't he? And I was like, what am I on about? What do you mean he's doing a few things wrong? Well, because I don't fully agree or do the same things myself. It's like, man, the arrogance I had as a young trainer is mental.
Everyone has, and I think everyone goes through it, especially when you just start learning stuff.
Yeah.
It's happening now though.
Yeah.
It's massive right now. But then there's also the other side of it where the really hardcore guys are really calling them out and being like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making them double down on being more like, no.
Yeah.
You're just close-minded.
Yeah. It happens. Like everyone goes through it where you just start educating and it's like, yeah, I know everything now. And then it's, actually, no, it's not.
I think
midwit.
The biggest thing that then made a difference, I know this will be true for you guys as well, was I think it was either end of 2018, start of 2019, something like that. I met Michael Goulden. So went to my first like Integra RTS thing. I remember being like, it's like 1,200 quid for this intro course. That's a fucking expensive course. Yeah, it was probably like 3 times more than any other course I'd kind of paid to do at that point. And I done hard about it for a while. And there was this company called the Muscle Mentors who kept talking about him. And I've been to some of their stuff. I was like, they all keep bigging him up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fine, all right, let's go. And went in. And again, I've been a trainer 8-9 years, whatever it was. I remember him going like, how come a lat raise is hardest where your arm is up out by your side, not down by your side? And I went, fucking no. And I was like, I feel like I should know that because I've been doing this a while. And I don't think the 5 kilo dumbbell got 5 kilos can't change from 5 kilos just because it's out there to down here. So like, but it definitely is harder. I've done enough lat raises to know that. Shit, what am I missing? And then being like, oh crap. And then as that course kind of went on and, you know, Michael took us through a set on a leg extension or something. And I was like, what the hell happened to my leg there? I've not felt it. And I was
blew up.
Yeah. And I was just like, I've been missing some stuff and shit, I don't know as much as I thought I knew. I had all these like answers that were just I'd memorize some words.
It's harder because it's a free weight.
Yeah, honestly,
It's a free weight exercise.
Smith machines aren't as good because they're not free weights. Like, it's got machine in the title. It's not even pretending to be a free weight. And I used to say that shit out loud to people.
Telling you exactly what it is.
Yeah, doesn't work those stabilized muscles as well. So, inferior. And so Michael I went, oh fuck, what is all that? I need to know all this. And then I just lived at his studio and did everything he put on for the next probably 3 years. And to this day, I will still say that if you're a new coach and you're in person in particular, getting great at practical biomechanics-y type things with Michael, if you're in the UK, or RTS stuff in general, is the most practically useful and usable shit that will make an immediate difference to you on the gym floor and your ability to adjust and make a client's exercise experience feel better, more unique to them in a way that no one else will be able to do. And for an in-person business, that's massive. Like words, I just think words are not that persuasive to people because, if you're talking to someone who isn't a trainer, you can try and describe stuff and why it might be better to train this way over that way. It doesn't mean anything because they can't make sense of that. But if you go on a leg extension and do what Michael did to me, and I went, my quad has never felt so pumped in its life while my knee feels lovely. What the fuck just happened? That experience is worth all the words and is the most persuasive thing you can give to someone. So if you're like having a chat on a gym floor with someone and you find like, my knee's giving me shit. You're like, there's an in here. All right. If I can go, I got a few minutes to look at that. You want to see if we can do anything? You go over. If you can then make that knee feel much better and the muscles around it really feel like they had a great workout, but the knee felt good. You've just sold PT if they can afford it. Right. Like words are overrated. Get great at creating experiences. So if I was starting out again, mechanics with Michael in the UK would be, I'd go straight there. I'm going
Forget the
straight
qualification,
here.
just
straight. Yeah, well, I'll do the qualification, but tick the box. But I'd be like, straight here, I'm going to live here, I'm going to do as many things of those as I humanly can, and really kind of practice that stuff. I think that's the best
Michael
one.
absolutely crushed my ego. Like, I was there, I was like, I'm fucking smart. And he just like does his thing, right?
Yeah, he's so annoyingly nice with it as well.
Yeah, I'm just like, fuck.
yeah. But that, he will always be one of the biggest influences on my career as a result of that. I still see him now, and try and see him a good few times a year. And, both me and him have been out to Oklahoma, which there's a guy called Tom Purvis, who's Michael's kind of mentor and stuff. Him nearly died in Oklahoma. Have you told that story before?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Sweet.
Imagine if we met Tom like way back.
Yeah.
Before when we were like so confident in.
Do you think he'd have slapped you?
I don't know.
He'd probably just walk out of the room, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're like, I ain't wasting my time.
Just imagine how far ahead Tom was, right?
Yeah.
When everyone else was on this craziness.
Yeah.
And he must just think like, fucking you lot.
It probably goes a long way to a lot of why a large part of Tom is like, fuck this industry.
Yeah. Probably why how he is.
Yeah.
He's seen all of it.
Yeah, he's been around doing it and getting pushed back by people who don't know as much since
probably
the 80s.
ridiculing him at the time as well. And now they're like basically saying what his life work.
The whole modern biomechanics industry and trend comes from Tom, really.
Yeah.
Whether that's N1 or whoever, if there isn't a Tom, none of that really exists in the way that it exists now. And I don't think enough people know that. I think RTS and Tom could also be way better on social media and do those things. So they don't necessarily help themselves with that.
They're improving over time.
They are improving. And Benny's been helping that stuff.
Probably the students as well, like us, like we promote it so much, right? Like, I think Joe Bennett has been one of the best promoters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Joe's
he's the
been
reason why I did it.
Yeah. That's how you first came across it, was Joe?
I first came across it, some of the, like when he started putting out stuff on the hypertrophy coach, right? I was like, what the fuck is all this shit? And I was like, why does it make so much sense? But then I'm like, kind of like, not really understanding at the same time, but it's like, this makes sense.
I'm nodding,
yeah,
but I don't know enough to take part in this conversation. I'm just like, okay.
And that's when I was like, I need to learn more.
Yeah.
And I was actually planning to fly out to MI40 do because I didn't know that RTS existed. And then he said in a few videos, he was like, oh, I do this thing at RTS. I'm like, huh.
Is that how you first? When did you first come across it?
2017.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like,
James was already on it. James had already done it for 2 years or something.
If you go again, if you're out in Oklahoma at all, Tom has just loads of pictures from all through the years, and there's definitely ones. There's ones from like early 2000s with like Michael in it, where he looks young as shit, and a bunch of those, Jacques Taylor and stuff. Yes. Like you'll see young versions of them. I mean, Jacques looks the fucking same age now.
I'm gonna say he's like an encyclopedia. I can't keep up with him. He's one person I can't keep up with at all.
He's mad smart.
Yeah.
So like it's it's just a good world with good people, and it's not that ego driven, I tend to find. And that's, Michael is a wonderful teacher because he'll never make you feel stupid.
Yeah, he kind of lets you figure that out yourself.
Yeah, he helps
figure out you're stupid yourself.
He just leaves you alone. Right? He's like, dumbass. No, he's great at helping you think through a problem without just giving you the answer, but also without making you feel like an idiot for doing that. And I think that's a great sign of a teacher. So I'll always be hugely grateful for that, because especially if you've been doing it for a while and you think you're all right, no one wants to be humbled to that degree and be like, damn it, I thought I was good. This just makes me feel bad about myself. So you want someone who meets you as a person with it and doesn't look down on you for those things. I think it's a really important trait in any mentor or role model, is them not acting all superior. I tend to find most of the ones who do act superior are actually quite insecure, and often
I think that's where it's 100%. Kind of come from as well. When we grew up, but when we first started doing it, I think a lot of the people that we looked up to were a bit like that. They were superior. Yeah. They were like, I'm here. Yeah. You lot are down here. You got to listen to me. And then that probably created more people like that.
Copying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what they looked up to. Yeah. But now, with RTS, that was the first shift for me, when I was like, oh shit, these are really they're actually teaching me. And that's when I really kind of changed the way that I coach people and the way that I have conversations. And
yeah.
Because a lot of times people are scared to say they don't know something. Especially now I'm in a position where we're all in a position where we mentor other coaches, and sometimes they come across something and it's like, I don't actually know. And some of the people I've learned off would tell me whatever nonsense it is, rather than say,
I don't know.
I don't know that, but I'll go and find out. And I think that's what separates, because with Michael, sometimes he won't exactly know the answer, but he'll say, let's explore it. And we'll get to the answer together. And it's like...
But he knows.
No, he doesn't know. Yeah, well, he knows, but he might not know the details, because every situation is unique. So for this specific scenario, he doesn't know it's this. Rather than say it's this, for this specific scenario, he'll say, let's go and explore that. And he'll be like, for this scenario that we're talking about right now, we can see, and then we can backtrack as to why that is, rather than give a bullshit answer that lets me think this is the right way. And I go and regurgitate that to whoever it is. It kind of it pulls it back, and the best teachers and mentors are not afraid to say, I don't know something, or...
It's always an interesting one, isn't it? Because on one level, you go, I don't know anything. Means I can say I don't know anything, but you'll be a crap coach, because if in fact you do know nothing, then you saying I don't know is also not helpful as a coach. So you need to know more than nothing, right? But you can't know everything is going to be the long and short of it. And it's okay to not know everything. When you're actually training someone, though, you don't have to know definitively exactly what the thing that's wrong is per se. If I've got someone with some version of anterior knee pain, is it patella kind of tendonitis? Could I have some joint capsular issue? Is it the meniscus? Is it there could be a bunch of things that it is. And you can't differentiate. Now, you can test a few things to get a bit more of an idea, and you should, but almost no test has that level of specificity to it that you can completely rule out everything else.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have an MRI scan.
Yeah. And even if you did, you'd still have... Pain is complex, right?
Yeah.
If you've not looked into the biopsychosocial models of pain, right, you should go and look into the biopsychosocial model of pain. Pain is complicated, and you can't know exactly. Just because something's wrong on scan doesn't mean it's going to be causing an issue for the person in their day-to-day life. It's a factor in things, but there are plenty of people with loads of things wrong on scans.
They're this far away from
death. Yeah, just how are you not paralyzed? Yeah. But they don't know. One of my favorite ones, this dude who went into, it was in, I think, Glasgow, 2003, old guy, goes into the hospital, got something going on in his neck, scan it. He's got a bullet in there from 1944 D-Day, right? He got shot in the neck in 1944. Didn't know for 60 years, right? It's in there. No pain, no, didn't notice at the time. There's loads of people with, that's about as bad as it gets, by the way. Get shot in the neck.
This is a weird gunpowder.
Just cracked on.
It's gunpowder that keeps coming out somewhere.
That's fine. Just had a fag and carried on.
Just a flesh wound.
Yeah. So
straight in and out, it did.
Yeah. So just because something is wrong on scan doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. And just because there's nothing wrong on scan doesn't mean my client doesn't have an issue that is genuine for them. But even if I had, to treat the issue, whatever it is, if it's around that anterior knee, I still am going to use the same toolkit. I'm still going to play with how much is the resistance, where do I apply it, do I adjust the profile as I go through, how well do they control the ranges, how deliberate and intentional are they with whatever activation we might be playing with, what other joint positions might I be exploring to see if it feels better, blah, 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 blah. And it sort of doesn't matter exactly whether it's meniscus or tendon or joint capsule or whatever, because you can't be that specific. People love, though, to sound like, because they're required, in order for me to say, you can't know which one it is, I have to then say all this other stuff to say, hey, look, I know all these other things before I can get to the end conclusion of, but it also doesn't matter definitely which one it is most of the time.
It's weakly mead, that's why.
Yeah, it's always weakly
it's
mead, right?
always weakly mead.
And so, like, there's a level of I don't know when someone says I have anterior knee pain of some kind that I can say, but I also have a bunch of this underpinning and everything else that means when I say I don't know, it's not because I don't know anything about the knee. Right, it's because I can also go, you can't be as specific as that person over there. That physio has told you it's this.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think they can be as confident as they've just told you they're being. But that's a long road to get to that particular position. So, yeah. Anyway, go to Michael. He's a great place within that. I think I love Dan John. Right, so not many people know who Dan John is these days. American strength coach, nearly 70 now. Threw the discus to a high level. Has 2 master's degrees. I think one in religious studies and one in like the old English poem Beowulf. Really random. Really random. But his book, Never Let Go, A Philosophy of Living, Lifting and Learning, which he named the whole book after, so the sword and the stone, right? Remember the sword and the stone, right? So you know how Wart, young King Arthur, like transforms into different animals during it and stuff? Well, one of them that he turns into is a hawk. And the first rule of the hawks is to never let go. Anyone who's willing to name their book after something that nerdy and specific has my heart.
I was going to say I would never have known that.
Yeah, you guys never let go.
That's quite cool.
That's good, right? But you know, I'd love Dan not necessarily for the training specifics, but just for a man with so much wisdom. I think we're dying. The internet's full of facts and info, but it's shit at wisdom, right? Knowing when something matters and why, and the whole person and the situation this thing exists within. I don't know anyone better than Dan John at seeing the whole person in a situation and having a million great stories that you can relate to clients or relate to yourself within stuff. And, you know, here's just the antithesis of that mentor type we spoke about earlier who just has all the answers and knows it and is cocky. And like Dan sits at the front row of any talk he ever goes to and makes notes and asks questions. And he's like just a humble, lovely, funny, great dude. And he, you know, I even like his definition of integrity. He says that integrity is being the same person in all situations. Or if you go to your funeral, does your nan and your mum and your partner and your friends describe the same person?
Definitely not.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying there might not be slightly differences, but do they kind of go, yeah, that's basically who that person was? And I'm like, that's a pretty good definition of integrity. And anyone who's ever met Dan or spent time with him, you talk about the same person. He's just a really good role model in the industry. So I've learned loads from Dan, and we'll always love him for that. And then Dan and Mike for business and banter guys. If you're looking for genuine business help, online in particular, yeah, those guys are great. No one else comes close. They're not full of shit. So Dan's been awesome for me in making the difference between realizing that actually online I may have spent so long making educational content. It's based on those PubMed studies. And I spent ages on Canva making things that got 3 likes and no one gave a fuck about. And realizing, oh, okay, I need to speak actually more emotionally to people about a specific problem. And I want it to feel like I'm in your head when I'm saying stuff or describing stuff or having fun with it and being myself. Like those guys are great at, they're just great at that. So if I'm narrowing it to 3, let's say Michael plus Tom, because Tom's a big part of that as well. Dan, John, and then, yeah, Dan and Mike would probably be the 3 I would focus people to go and see.